My guest today is illustrious actor. I like when they call actors inimitable.
Wow.
Incomparable. Woody Allen movies.
I can't believe I'm in love with a smoker.
Amy Heckerling.
Ex-girlfriend. She lost some weight, so she's dating a lot more now.
Fucking White's brothers.
It's not what it looks like.
This guy's been working, stays working. Interesting guy. Jason Biggs is here, guys. Hold for applause. Hold for applause.
Hold, please. So wait, you said you like when they, don't know who they are, but call actors those things. Are you calling me that?
No, I
just want to clarify.
Who does the they is the Broadway community.
Right, sure.
It's always the incomparable Patti LuPone.
Please welcome the incomparable Patti LuPone!
It's the only time anyone uses the word incomparable.
Yeah, for sure.
Is in intros for Broadway actors.
Mm-hmm. The inimitable Bernadette Peters.
Exactly.
The incomparable Bernadette Peters!
And there's about 9 women that they say it about.
Exactly.
And we've just named 2 of them. Liza Minnelli, whatever. That's an automatic.
The one, the only, Liza Minnelli.
All right. Here's the thing about Jason Biggs as a guest, guys. You and I bonded 15 years ago on Twitter because I said that my showbiz record was like 2 and 5. And like, that's a winning record in show business.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, fucking, and then you said you're right, I think. What I'm interested in about you, one of the things I'm interested in is what you thought you were getting yourself into, and then what has this turned out to be?
Well, it was interesting because having been a child actor.
Is it dangerous for children to be actors?
Yes.
That's what I'm always curious about, is like, is it obviously like molestation?
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one. That's the number 1 answer. Number 2 answer is it emotionally safe for children to be applying for jobs 3 a day?
If you need a yes or no, I mean, the short answer, yes.
It is safe.
Yes. No,
It
sorry,
is
dangerous.
Okay, good.
But here's what I will say, like, it really, really depends on, more than anything else, the parents.
Okay.
And while my parents have their shit, and I have my shit with my parents.
Sure, we all do.
You know, they weren't your traditional. I mean, my dad was sort of, he did get involved. He played chauffeur quite a bit sometimes, but it was my mom. She was not a stage mom by the sort of, that sort of horrible cliched definition of the term. So it wasn't like, I feel like she maybe did and still does to an extent live vicariously a little bit through my fame, and sort of she appreciates it, but maybe there is a sense of, I'm a parent now, so I'm proud of my kids. So maybe it's just pride, maybe it's whatever it is, but there was never a sense of I had to do this for her,
Even if they're doing it for you though, is it a thing a kid should be doing?
Exposed to. No. I mean, I think the best way to answer this question is, I'm so glad I did it.
Mm-hmm.
I would never allow my kids to do it. So I think that sort of sums everything up. But the places I go to for the reasons why my kids shouldn't do it are things like, I missed out on a lot of sort of normal childhood things, kid stuff. Things that I wish I had, took part in. I was always behind socially, had a lot of catching up to do.
In what ways?
I just really, didn't have a whole lot of friends. And the friends that I had, I would come in to work in New York. I was in Jersey, so that's where I grew up, very close by, but, so close yet so far away, that kind of thing. And that was really, really hard. It was really hard. But again, I was performing on Broadway. I was having this incredible experience. It's just most of my friends were adults in New York and fellow actors who were...
Kevin Spacey.
Actually, it's funny. So Kevin Spacey was doing Lost in Yonkers, which I had also auditioned for. I was doing the other Jewish playwright, comedy drama play about the Jewish experience in,
there were only 2 Jewish playwrights at that point in Broadway.
That's funny. But there were two. There was Neil Simon and there was Herb Gardner, who both had shows on Broadway that year. Lost in Yonkers, and then mine was Conversations with My Father. I auditioned for both of them. Kevin Spacey was doing Lost in Yonkers. Anyway, that's
Dodged a bullet.
Dodge
or something.
Something. A dodge something. Something that shoots very fast out of a chamber,
et cetera, et cetera. You write that joke yourself, guys.
Anyway, I digress. So there were things that I certainly missed out on. And, and also I think I was, though, in some ways living in Jersey was also a good thing for me, because I wasn't, I had friends that were going to professional children's school in the city, and then, were friends that lived in Los Angeles as child actors. Your exposure to things is way different, and assuming your parents, again, the level of sort of freedom that the parents give. So many of these kid actors become the sort, and listen, I also had a weird sort of relationship with my parents, a sort of reverse, where I sort of parented them in a lot of ways, where I sort of was looked at as these sort of, guiding.
Was that who you were,
voice.
Or you kind of became
It's
that?
a great question. A little bit
That's
who
all I
I
do.
was because of deficiencies, I think, with maybe my parents and sort of their family of origin stuff. And, they had kids really, really young. And, but I also think it's who I became. Chicken or the egg. But I definitely was sort of put into a role a little bit that was, perhaps not a normal kid role, and certainly in a family or certainly not in like school and sort of everyday stuff. But again, like a lot of these kid actors that I would meet, they were like, it was amazing how they would like treat their parents like they were the boss, because the parents put so much into this kid, relied on this kid, maybe financially, oftentimes financially, but certainly emotionally, living truly vicariously through their kids, unfulfilled dreams, unfulfilled sort of things of their own, that now this kid is doing commercials or performing on Broadway and lights up their life too, and becomes, but then they're deferential to the kid. The kid becomes this sort of arrogant little pricks. I met so many little pricks, and oh my God. But my parents were not like that, and they sort of kept me, again, growing up in New Jersey, I would go home and I wasn't like going to, you hear about these kids going to parties that they shouldn't be at, or being allowed to go off with managers who were, these weird other adult figures in their life. And that's where you hear the stories of molestation or sexual abuse, because the parent was like, oh, okay, this is a manager, an important person who wants to hang with my kid. Maybe he'll get the next job because he goes to this thing with so-and-so. My parents, I was not doing that shit. So my exposure to it was different than a lot of other kids.
So warped that happens ever, and it happens all the time.
All the time. So again, my experience, as all of them are, very unique, very different.
Mixed bag is what it sounds like.
A total mixed bag for me. I learned so much as a kid. I also, gave up a lot, but I also had it very lucky in that I did not, go down any of those sort of really weird, dangerous roads that a lot of other child actors do.
Okay. So you probably had...
But I did end up being an alcoholic and needing to...
We'll get there.
Yeah. So...
Okay, you do develop good work ethic, good work habits,
mm-hmm.
good prep, etc. And one of your blocks is complacency from early onset success.
Yeah. Yes.
So sorry. So
EOS as it's called in medical circles.
All right. What happened? Walk me through it, and what happened to it? What happened? What was it like? We're clearly talking about American Pie.
Excuse me?
So I am miserable, and I'm still kind of auditioning. I'm working at Gap Kids Baby Gap in the Garden State Plaza in New Jersey, at the mall, and I auditioned for and book a part in a TV show that was already running, and moved to LA. I auditioned on a Tuesday, was living at my parents' house, working at Gap Kids. Wednesday, I get the call that I need to fly to LA on Thursday to read for Stephen Bochco, the producer. Flew out to LA, read for Stephen, get the part, fly home on Friday, being told my first episode starts on Monday, pack my bags and fly back on Sunday. So it was like within a week, I went from that to being on a TV show in LA. That show was canceled. At this point, I said, I'm fucking staying out in LA. This was it. I'm not going back. This was my sign.
What year is this?
This is 97.
Okay.
97. I'm like, I'm going to stay out here. Got a new agent, booked a pilot. That did not get picked up. Fortunately, because a month later, I auditioned for and booked, wasn't called it at the time, but American Pie.
It was like the first sex comedy in a long time.
Yeah.
This one time at band camp, I stuck a flute in my
Yeah,
That was the sort of selling point. It was like I remember people going like, it's like Porky's.
Yep.
Why do they call you meat? Because it's so big?
Or whatever. Like
Fast
these
Times at
movies that came
Ridgemont
out
High.
in- Yeah, in the early 80s, and they kind of stopped making them.
Yep.
And then this was the first one back.
That was the whole sort of thing.
And
Exactly.
you probably start to smell like, oh, it's going to be. Are you getting treated better like a month before it comes out? When do you start getting treated better by people
By the
in
public? By
no,
Hollywood?
by people in showbiz?
Yeah. Great question. So,
This is what I do, guys.
So even in the lead up to the movie now, the buzz around this thing was so real.
Yeah.
You know, and this is the early days of the internet, but you know, there was a Red Band trailer that played
It's
before.
the R-rated one where
Yeah,
you
so it's
probably fuck the pie.
It's not what it looks like.
exactly.
I'm
There
better.
was a shot of me in the pie in the movie.
Yep.
That's exactly right. So, which I at first was like, why are you giving that away? Isn't that the
Yeah,
thing? And it
yeah,
was,
I know.
nope. And it was brilliant.
Turns out
It was-
people don't care.
It was fucking brilliant. And so the buzz around it was so tangible and wild. And
Were you? I have some general.
yeah.
Were you ashamed of your body? Did you want to work out before the scene? Did you do the push-ups before you start rolling?
Mhm.
Did you know, like, I don't want to, were the White brothers like, we don't want you to be in good shape? It's basically a nude scene. It's a humiliating nude scene, but like not.
Yeah.
What? Talk to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was definitely nervous about doing it, nervous about showing my ass. I was topless, not in that scene, but in later scene dancing for Nadia in my bedroom. And the truth is, I wasn't super hung up on it. I sort of, I mean, it was clear that this role, this Jim, was not the coolest of guys,
Right.
you know.
But the anchor of the movie, the centerpiece of the movie.
The centerpiece of the movie, sure. But I also felt like, yeah, I would later become more hung up on my body for sure. But at the time, I felt like it works for the role. It works for this. It's not a. I was more just nervous about, you know, sort of showing my butt. You know, my parents are gonna see this.
Yeah, well,
like
that's what I
that
mean.
kind
Like,
of
do
thing. You know,
Yeah. Did you?
or fucking the pie. You know, like these things are.
What's the? Do you? You must have thought, am I gonna try to fuck this pie right? Am I gonna try to put it down on this pie? Or am I gonna like fucking animal? What? Like, did you have a fuck plan?
Yeah, there wasn't really a plan. Although I will say, I remember reading the script and I thought it was fucking hilarious, obviously. And I was reading every script. At that point, there was a sort of a teen movie surge, but American Pie was the only one that was R-rated and was really well written, and felt honest in its portrayal of teens in high school, but also had the comedic element that was above all of these other scripts that I was reading. So I read this
If
thing.
you're young, the term MILF was.
Yep.
Dude, I took some MILF.
The hell's that?
MILF. Mom, I'd like to fuck.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know, invented, but it was certainly no one had said in
Popularized,
popular
no.
culture
No.
up till then. Now it's it's a Pornhub category. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
it's a category more than Pornhub. It's like it's a human category,
Yep. Totally.
and it did not exist before this movie.
Did not exist before 1999 and American Pie.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so you're reading that. You must have been like a MILF. Like, it must have been so fucking fun
All
to
of
read.
it. All of
Yeah.
it. There was so much of it. The set pieces just came at you no pun intended, with such frequency and hilarity, and it was just like nonstop. And again, like I recognized these kids, you know? So I was like, oh my God, this is reading all these scripts, be happy to book any of them, but this is what I really want. And I got it. And I was so psyched. And kept throughout that whole audition process, like I would do anything to play this role. This is the script.
I need to fuck
this pie. But I show up on the day of filming that pie, and I had a proper nervous sort of freak out. And I remember I called that manager who had sort of, you know, came to me earlier in that year, you know, and found me. And I was like, dude, am I really going to do this right now? Like, this is crazy. Because, you know, you're operating in a bit of a vacuum here. You don't know. Yes, it's a studio film. You're not, but it also felt independent in a lot of ways. The studio was very hands off. It was low budget for them. And so there was still like, is anyone going to fucking see this thing? Now, again, every step of the way, reading the script, casting, you meet all these other people. You go to the table and you go, holy shit, these people are great. This is really funny. Filming it, oh my God, this has a lot of potential. But still, it was, I'm gonna fuck this pie. Like, could this hurt my career? Like, I don't know. Is this something? Is this porn?
Yes.
Like, what the fuck am I doing? And he told me, I remember being in my trailer. I was like, am I gonna do this? And he was like, Jason, you go in there and you fuck that pie with all you got. And you know, I was still nervous. But we did the first take. And I don't remember what the direction was. I think we kind of just went for it. You know, they were very particular about how far down my pants were pulled. They wanted to see my ass without it being too weird and graphic or gratuitous. I mean, that was the whole thing about any of these movies. The way they don't work if it feels gratuitous, all this stuff. So they were really concerned.
Speak for yourself. Go ahead.
The Weitz brothers are so fucking brilliant. But that was a concern. And, you know, it was a timing thing when Eugene walks in and his reaction and all this stuff. And there was all of these elements. So I don't know if it was a real, like, you know, how hard or little I'm going to fuck the pie. I think I did different shades of it. But for that first take, I just kind of went for it.
How many pies do you think you used?
Well, it was, there was a lot on set that day, and there were some unused pies that were served at craft service. So it was
absolutely wonderful.
So people were eating the pies that I...
Dick pie.
Dick pie, if you will. Dick pie. And, and so, I sort of went for it, and I just
finding out there's a class action suit for the people who ate the pie. Sorry, you're gonna have to testify.
Well, actually, I believe there might have been a lawsuit. There was a kid in Idaho who fucked a pie after the movie came out, but did not wait for it to cool down after it came out of the oven and got third-degree burns on his cock. And I settled with him. I settled with him.
You didn't. It could have been.
It could have been.
You could have won the suit. You just didn't want to waste time.
I didn't want a deal. And at that point, I knew there was a sequel. I was like, "Fuck it, pay him. I don't need this in my life." So I remember when action was called, just thinking, as I did with any sort of comedy up to that point, and still to this day, you have to commit, as you know, Mr. Brennan.
Sure.
And action was called, and I fully committed, and I fucked the pie as if I was having the best sex of my life.
Right.
That was sort of in my head.
What little you know about sex at that point.
What little I knew, honestly, what little I knew about sex at that point. It's the best sex of your life. This is the best thing ever. And I did it, and they called cut. And there was like in my head, there was a pause of like, and the entire crew erupted in laughter.
Great.
And that, I'll never forget that moment as long as I live. That was the moment for me where I go, okay, anything fucking goes.
Yeah.
I could do anything I want comedically as long as A, it makes sense in the story, B, it feels grounded and possible, and C, I fucking commit 110%. And again, it's not all on me. It was a hilarious joke to write. I mean, it was like so fucking funny and absurd and visually
was the writer? What was the writer's name?
This guy, Adam Hers.
Yeah,
Adam Hers, who wrote the first 3 of the theatrical ones. Yeah, and so it just worked.
It also, weirdly, your life is different.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Fucked a pie. Applause break. Your life's never the same.
Never the same. That is a huge sort of
Very
demarcation.
rarely in life do you get that clear a thing. Like,
There's a before I fucked the pie and an after I fucked the pie.
Yep.
And so, yeah.
Walk me through okay, now that we're there.
Yeah.
Walk me through the upsides and the downsides of the after.
There is one answer that is both upside and downside, which is no one says no to you. Like after that, it's huge success. I'm one of the main stars of it.
They can't prove it's not you.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to is like when you're negotiating sequels, at a certain point you go, do it without me.
Yep.
And they go, we can do this without you. You go, do it.
Yeah. Well,
and then it's a game of chicken.
Well, now they have AI on their side,
Yeah,
and it's a whole fucking other thing. But yeah, it was a game of chicken that worked to my advantage.
So when you say no
quite a
one
few
said
years.
no one can say no to you, what do you? I'm
So
assuming,
so like on a daily level, on a, I'm 20, 21 when I just turned 21 when it came out in a perfect bit of fortuitous timing. I turned 21 in May and the movie came out in July. And I started traveling for the movie like in May. Like I turned 21 and then was like on a plane to the Bahamas to do the MTV Beach House. And like, and the life just took off with a serious boost of rocket fuel at that point. And yeah, no one's saying no. I could get whatever I wanted and did. I started doing a lot of drugs at this point and drinking a lot. And it just became this, it was like, yeah, sort of. And I will say this, like, I don't think it ever, it did go to my head, but not in the way where I became like this asshole. Again, always being able to draw upon my early successes as a kid and then early failures as a kid, seeing the success and seeing it go away very quickly. I really did and still do have that in my mind. It's etched in there forever, and it is a driving force behind my whole life. And so I never felt like I got too big for my britches. I never got super cocky. I was always grounded, knew it could go away. But certainly enjoyed the fact that I could take advantage of this success and I was generous with it. Like I loved taking.
You would sleep with anyone.
I mean, anyone.
You were so and people loved you for it.
They loved
your
me
generosity.
for it. And sometimes even I wasn't even awake when it was happening. They were just like, "Can I just?" I was like, "My dick is yours."
Yeah, please help yourself.
My
the
dick
door's open.
is yours.
You do the little thing on the hotel room door so it can't close.
Exactly. Put the chain up.
Yep.
Come on in. But no one said no when like that was a great thing, of course, and it still is like a.
No one says no sounds.
A little
something. I think a better version.
Yeah.
If I may do a rewrite. People said yes before I asked anything.
Great. That's better. You're right.
People were they wanted to.
You're right. No one said no does sound like I'm just trying to go around fuck people.
Yeah.
You're right. That's not it. Okay. I'm actually not even thinking about the sex, honestly, although yes, there was that.
Right.
I'm more thinking about it like, getting advantages that other people wouldn't get, It's sort of like you become kind of used to this idea.
But you're probably not asking. They're probably offering.
Just offering.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's like, no, it's not like you're like, I
right.
want, and they go,
You're right.
we can't say no. He's fucking sick of fucking good.
Exactly. God, you're right. Now in hindsight, I am really feeling
I'm
like,
not cutting it. Let's
I know
be
you're
clear.
not cutting
not
that.
cut
I
it.
know you're not cutting that, which is why I feel the need to. I need the. You're gonna take that clip. Fucker. No, it does sound very sexual in its intention, and it's the opposite.
I would say it's the Eddie Murphy, Mr. White sketch.
Mr. White, you'd like to borrow $50,000 from our bank, but you have no collateral. You have no credit. You don't even have any ID. Is that correct?
That's right.
Why don't you take your break now? I'll take care of Mr. White. That was a close one, wasn't it?
It certainly was.
We don't have to bother with these formalities, do we, Mr. White, huh?
What a silly Negro.
Like, it's literally, that's what it's like.
Yeah, exactly. And that, you can't help but like, build expectations based on that, So like, that still follow me to this day that are like a little outlandish and bizarre. And it's whether it's from waiting in a line, like, I can't wait in a line. It's like, why not?
Yeah. Yeah. People go, you do your own laundry? You're like, yeah.
Yeah, I sure do. But also, it was dangerous. I mean, I was partaking in drugs and alcohol and sex. Yes. I'll go into that now. Like, yeah, there was a partying component to it all that I had access to now that I took full advantage of, and that was dangerous.
But
yes, fun.
But incredibly fun.
But,
and you're 21.
But incredibly fucking fun. So it was also this wonderful perk of the success as well.
What was the hierarchy in terms of status on that? Meaning, like, you'd all be doing events. Who did most girls want to sleep with? Sean William Scott?
The stiff man showed him the way. Can I get a hallelujah? Hallelujah!
Oh, that's interesting. I think, and Chris Klein was a handsome,
was like
handsome devil. But you'd be surprised. Like
you'd be like you're my secret.
Oh, dude, I used to get that all the time.
Yeah.
Like or I'd get a lot of, because then after the movie came out, I got in shape. And so I would get a lot of like,
saw yourself on screen. You were like, some things need to change.
Some things need to change now that I'm, so I would get a little bit of, or a lot of, God, you're much cuter in person.
Yeah.
You're much hotter in person.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
So a lot of that worked to my advantage, but it didn't even matter, bro. It honestly didn't even matter. I mean, even before the movie came out, like whether it was like, extras on the set of the movie.
Yeah.
They know that you're number one on the call sheet.
Yeah.
And it's just an automatic like, oh, hey, and you have this access suddenly.
What's it do to you? All of it. So when do you realize, it comes out, you probably start getting offered. Are you getting good movie offers?
Yeah. Some of which I'm passing on. Which is crazy. I mean,
anything you should not have passed on in retrospect?
In retrospect, all of the money gigs I should not have passed on, because I ended up doing shitty movies anyway.
That's funny.
That I didn't get paid as much for, perhaps, that I thought were going to, it's like, now, and by the way, fast forward, I'm 40 years old. I have a wife and 2 kids, mortgage payment in New York City.
Yeah.
The industry is upside fucking down.
It's evaporating. People are being vaporized in front. It's
in front of us.
It's Omaha Beach,
right? So when I think about the $1 million I turned down at 21 years old to go do, by the way, a movie that J.J. Abrams wrote before I go, what in the actual fuck was I thinking?
Yeah.
But I was 21 years old with offers coming out of,
fucking fuck J.J. Abrams.
And like so crazy.
$1 million. Fucking don't insult me.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, so yes, there are regrets, my friend. But yeah, what does it do to you? It's expectations. It skews your expectations in a sort of
interpersonally. Every interaction you have with a human being, you're kind of like,
yeah. There's a little bit of the raised eyebrow, like, you know who I am.
You want to do this the easy way or the hard way,
dude? Exactly, exactly right. By the way, I'm at a really.
I'm not approaching this as like you're a fucking entitled asshole.
No,
because I know
no.
I know
I'm not, and I feel like
you're not. And I also know, like, you become an alcoholic. I know. You've given me enough fast forwards that I'm like, okay. It ends up, whatever's bad ends up you end up panning the sort of
through the filter. Yeah.
So, is there like a snapshot of a thing where you're like, that was wild, and that was. Is there like a bottom, not necessarily like, and then you decide to get sober or whatever, but just like, this is all very crazy?
I'll say that the sort of the crazy exploits of my, because then of course, I had a girlfriend for a while too during that time. So the exploits and the insanity sort of would kind of contract for a little while, but I was still drinking every day and drugging, so that.
What drugs?
I loved cocaine. I would take any.
As I once directed, it's a hell of a drug.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
It's a hell of a drug, man. That's right. It's a hell of a drug. And, this was the late 90s, early 2000s. I also loved ecstasy. I would do ecstasy by myself. I did ecstasy
How
by
often?
myself on a car ride to fucking in the mountains once.
To Ralph's.
Dude, I would go to Rock and Roll Ralph's.
Of course you
man. Always fucked up.
Dude, were you treated well at Rock and Roll Ralph's
Sure,
in
of course I was.
1999? High and ecstasy fucking guy from American Pie?
You goddamn right
Would
I
you
was.
get fucking free deli meats? As many
I used to go there
grapes-
for a roast beef sandwich. Their
as
deli
many
was
grapes.
bomb.
I know what you were there for. As many fucking grapes as you could finger.
Oh God. Yeah.
I mean, talk about the pie section. If anyone saw
forget
you,
it. They
forget-
literally would roll out a red carpet for me just down that aisle.
It was a hard day's night with you and pie in the Ralph
Exactly.
in the Ralph's pie section.
Oh God, yeah. So
How about this is an ecstasy question. You're not supposed to do it more than every 3 months for it to work well.
Oh man, I would.
Oh, well,
yeah, I
is
would
that
do
a-
it every weekend for like
Fantastic.
a year. I felt like, and
People
I would
with Reddit would like to talk to you.
MDMA Reddit.
Yeah.
I mean, and I haven't done it since since the name change to Molly.
I
By
know.
the way, like I'm
Or
like
from
Molly.
Molly to MDMA,
yeah, right. But ecstasy, it's called ecstasy.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
From ecstasy to Molly, I'm like, what are you
missed
talking
you missed two cycles.
So I missed 2 cycles of that.
Which
drug.
means it would work really well now.
I know.
Whatever.
I know.
We're not,
It
don't
just
worry
got
about it.
more
Don't-
and more pure.
don't be
I know,
tempted.
dude. Believe me, the shit that it was cut with back then. And we would take multiple in a night. It was always like we were Mr. Wizards. We were little chemists. We'd be like, oh, your peaking is the time to take another one.
Yeah, which is absolutely not true.
Not true at all.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Guys, we turn to some funny places for support. But, the internet, TikTok, Instagram, your mom, your friend, your boys, not everyone's a therapist. I don't know if you knew this. Not everyone has any. In fact, almost no one's a therapist. It's very hard to become a therapist. A lot of people pretend they know what they're doing. They don't. You turn to the wrong person. You get advice that feels good. It's probably not good advice. And then if your relationships are like, you got to leave her, or you got to, you're not having sex with her good enough, or you got to buy her something, whatever. Or even it's not relationships. It's just you're depressed. And they go, have you tried yoga? I hadn't thought of it until you just said it. Instead, get guidance from a credentialed therapist online with BetterHelp. First of all, my lady's a therapist, so that helps. But I also have very intelligent friends, very competent, whatever. They're smart, funny men and ladies, but they're not therapists. They say laughter's the best medicine. It's not. Medicine's the best medicine. Therapy's the best therapy. When people go, oh, this podcast is therapy, it's nowhere near as good as actual therapy. I've gone to therapy on and off most of my adult life, and it's been hugely helpful. And BetterHelp's been doing it a long-ass time. Guys, BetterHelp has been helping people find their match in terms of therapists for over 10 years and has a 4.9 rating out of 1.7 million client session reviews. That's a lot and a lot. Here's the call to action. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Find the one with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/NEAL. That's BetterHelp.com/NEAL. You've been hearing me talk about it the entire history of this podcast. Go ahead and do it. BetterHelp.com/NEAL. Base. Grabbing my Huel Black Edition legit saves my mornings. I used to be a tad hungry and reach for coffee after coffee before, but now I actually feel satiated and on my game for mornings. Guys, fall is near. School and work are ramping up. Life is busy for all of us. I get it. You get it. We all get it. Time is tough to come by, especially to get a meal that helps you towards your goals. Fortunately, Huel gets it too, spelled Huel. Their Black Edition powder is a complete meal, so you feel full, focused, and ready for your day. I use it. Legitimately delicious. At less than $3 per meal, it's packed with 40 grams of plant-based protein and 27 essential vitamins and minerals. No added sugar, gluten-free, tastes great with flavors like salted caramel or caramel and chocolate. Plus, it keeps me full for hours. It's perfect for breakfast, lunch, or post-workout. And they got a new product that I'm going to open on camera and drink. You're going to see my live react. This is a live reaction video. They just dropped a first-of-its-kind super greens drink in a can. It's called the Huel Daily Greens Ready to Drink. Forget powders. Forget pills. This is your daily green, sparkling, refreshing, and ready whenever you are. The hard thing about the beverage space is it's hard to come up with a new product, and they did it. No mixing, no mess, quick and convenient, without compromising nutrients. It's sparkling and comes in flavors like blueberry, apple, and peach that are actually delicious. I got apple here. It's got 42 vitamins, minerals, and superfoods, only 25 calories, 4 grams of fiber, 1 gram of sugar, made by dietitians. I'm going right now. Let's get the really nice sound. Okay, here we're gonna go logo. Well, we can't do logo out, but here's me drinking it. That's really good. You hate to say something's a perfect beverage, but they might have done it. Apple. I got 2 other flavors at home that I'm going to try. Together, Huel makes healthy eating simple. Try both today with 15% off your purchase for new customers with my exclusive code NEAL at Huel.com, HUEL.com/NEAL. Use my code and fill out the post-checkout survey to help support the show. I'm going for a third sip, y'all. Can you believe it? Neal, don't do it. Oh, get your hands off me. Nutrients. You're drinking, you're doing ecstasy, you're doing cocaine, and it's fun and retrospectively dangerous. What do you think's happening?
So for a while, I thought this is all going great. My career is still, going well. Any failures that I had in my career up to that point, I could sort of, I could. They stung.
You did American Pie, and then you did.
And I did like Boys and Girls.
Ooh, that's the kiss of death.
With Freddie Prinze Jr., Loser.
American Pie's Jason Biggs.
Again, Amy Heckerling. I was like, yes, please, but the movie didn't perform. I like it. I think it's a really cool little movie, and I don't regret doing it, but it did me no favors career-wise.
But, okay, and then now you go from being one of 8 people on a poster to I was there like, you're the only guy on the poster.
I was the only guy on the poster. Exactly.
Were you confident, like, I think I'm ready to be the only guy on the poster.
Yeah, I was. I felt like, yes, I'm ready to be, and I think too there was a bit of, if there was entitlement, I think that it sort of played in there as well. Like I felt like I'd been doing this. People talk about overnight success, and they would say it to me like, "Oh, crazy overnight," and I'm like, motherfucker, I've been doing this since 1983. I've had my SAG card since 87. I have worked my ass off, and like I fucking know I earned this. I should be solo on a movie poster. Like I'm funny. I'm good. I can be whatever the thing I need to be, and I know my what I can't do, and I'll try to stay away from that. But I could do this. I could be a fucking movie star. And then you go, oh shit, 2 of those movies come out. They don't fucking work. And it's a hit to the ego for sure. But I was still able to sort of drink and drug my way through it enough. Still had enough offers coming in to where it felt like, that Loser's failure or, lack of success, I guess, at the box office could be more attributed to the filmmaker,
right?
Like,
it was a tough weekend. It's a tough weekend.
Tough competition was tough. They gave us a weird. It was February.
There's a million excuses.
Yeah.
What do you think the difference is between a movie star and a movie actor, if you've ever thought about it?
I think likability is a huge part of it. In order to be a movie star and to really get to that kind of level, people have to want you to get there. They have to like you. There has to be, I think, like a charming sort of general likability that makes that, regardless of the kinds of roles that you play, that makes them want you to get there. Obviously, there's looks, right? But Bob Odenkirk is now a movie star.
Yeah.
He didn't get there because of his looks. He is so fucking likable. And by the way, talent. Of course, talent.
I actually don't even think Bob is that likable. That's what's fascinating about
Interesting.
it. Interesting.
I think his... Okay.
I think if you take Mr. Show, for example, and again, Bob Odenkirk is in my Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
On Mr. Show, Bob wasn't the charismatic one.
Hold on. I'm doing a show tonight. Well, I think it's tonight. I should probably write those things down.
No. Right. It was...
Dave was.
Wow. But if you
what he's playing.
Like Saul is actually, you
Yes.
root for that guy
Yes.
despite his shadiness,
Yes.
and it's because of Bob, because you like whatever
Yes.
that is that
The
he's
thing
giving
he's
off
beaming out
is
is
like, I like him.
it. Yeah.
I like him.
Grab a juice box, have a nap, go on.
And now he's a movie star. And he's still giving off that likable. And the characters he's playing in these movies is like the
Yeah.
guy who happens to become like
Yeah.
his action star, right?
I'm gonna fuck you up.
So yeah, there's looks, of course, but like, yeah, I think you can get there with talent and likability, charm, you know? But then you have to make good choices too, because the other part of this is the fans have to get you there. And then the industry has to get you there. And they kind of feed each other, of course. The industry will keep getting you, pushing you, and giving you these offers if the fans are saying, we want more of him. And that's, reflected in box office. But, it's opportunities, the right scripts, etc. And, it's, you do
And
a
choices and forks and like the only available thing. And
Yep, there's so many arbitrary things that come into play, of course.
Is
but the
this
industry
something
is
you
so
beat yourself
fickle.
up about?
A little bit. Like I wonder, something a hang up of mine that I've thought a lot about is.
We'll call it a block. Go ahead.
Why don't we call it a block?
Great.
This isn't hang-ups with Neal Brennan.
No, it's not. Not yet.
Not yet. Patent pending. Should I have held out, if you will?
I'm not even talking about choices.
Okay.
I'm talking about your role on Earth.
Mhm.
If we're gonna get spiritual a little bit.
Yeah.
Every time you sign up to do another sequel for American Pie.
Yeah.
Is there a part of you that's like, fuck, I'm money, great. I am like known with it. I'm on this ship and I'm typecast and is there a part of you that's like, I know for myself, like there are portions of my talent that I'm very happy with and then there are limitations where I'm like, motherfucker, if only I was as likable as X, if only I was opinion, whatever. Is there a version of that for you within your career?
It's funny, the sequels in a lot of ways helped my confidence, certainly helped the bank account. And I never really vacillated on it. I wanted to do the sequels, obviously I didn't tell Universal that when I was negotiating. But I also, in between these sequels, I was doing these other movies that weren't working.
Right.
And
that's what I mean.
Yeah. And so it was very much like, on the one hand, I started at a certain point, probably around American Pie 3.
These things keep happening to me.
Actually, it was after that. It was after the Woody Allen movie.
There was something compelling about your apathy.
So 2003, I'm now doing my third American Pie movie that summer. Biggest paycheck still that I've gotten to date. Probably always will be.
$75,000. Go ahead. It's very sad.
Listen, flat screen TV,
I mean, hello.
new mattress, and a 4Runner.
Hello.
Actually, that literally was what I got with my first American Pie check, was a Toyota 4Runner,
Fantastic.
a flat screen TV, and a new mattress. I kept having American Pie to sort of feed not only myself with food because I could afford to buy really good food, but also feed my ego. I would have these failures, but I was still getting offers up away from it, and I was, and I was having all of this box office success with the American Pie movies, but it started to come into focus, perhaps a little later for me than it did for the people that were hiring me, that my success was becoming more dependent on just the American Pie franchise, perhaps. And it was around that time, I remember coming off of American Pie 3, kind of thinking that a little bit, but again, going, all right, I just got paid, money that, I hit the lottery here. And then I get cast in the Woody Allen movie around the same time. And I was doing The Graduate on Broadway. So I was still like, while it was becoming more clear, it was sort of getting this, it was kind of going through this funnel of, unless you're playing Jim Levinstein, you are going to have a shitty opening weekend. Because I was like, well, I'm on Broadway, and it was a box office thing on Broadway that was huge.
Yeah, Woody Allen.
And then Woody Allen.
Yep.
But then the Woody Allen movie doesn't work either. That sort of, and then it sort of really, I had a moment, probably 2005-ish, where I'm like, oh man. And now I'm getting offered TV stuff. And here's where some regret really starts to happen. As I sit here, I have regrets about decisions I made at this point in my career, because I was still like, and how much of it was ego, I don't know. How much of it was poor guidance from representatives, I don't know. How much of it was just fear on my part or complacency. I would pass on some of these TV opportunities. There was, this sounds defensive, but there was a bit of a weird stigma still around television, right? Like there were TV people and then there were movie people.
Yep.
I thought I was still a movie person.
Yep.
And so I passed on How I Met Your Mother like a fucking idiot. It was very soon after that I go, oh no, wait, wait, hold on. I do want to be on TV. And then I take a crack at, I get another development deal and I make a pilot and I and I get on TV in this one series and it bombs. And I go, oh, fuck. Now I can't even, now I'm having trouble in even the TV. Now I'm like, all right, I guess I'll go do TV.
My fallback.
My fallback, right?
Yeah.
And so things start to go, you start to go, okay, here's that thing I warned myself about.
And where are you with drugs and alcohol at this point?
Flying, because it's helping through all of this.
Yep.
It's helping.
What did it do for you? Quiet the negative thoughts?
It quieted the negative thoughts. I had a lot of snakes in my head. It quieted them down. It made it easier to, and also.
You run anxious?
I run incredibly anxious.
Right.
OCD, debilitating OCD as a kid before I was medicated. And I wasn't yet medicated at this point.
Medicated with what?
Zoloft for the OCD.
For OCD
originally.
at what age?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't until I was in my late 20s. So during this whole
OCD,
time,
give me some. Give me a little something. Give me a little taste. Give me a little glimpse.
Well, as a kid, I mean, it was a bit whack-a-mole. It had a few different forms of it. There was the germ side. I germ OCD, so I would wash my hands until they bled. They cracked, dry, and bled. In the winter in New Jersey, especially, and I would, it would just be raw. I would do it raw. And then, there was like religious scrupulosity version of OCD where, I would get in bed at night. By the way, I would get in bed and have to blow on my bare feet to blow the germs, whatever I had stepped in from the shower or whatever around the house, blow the germs off my feet. Until they felt sufficiently cleansed.
5 minutes?
Maybe not that long. I think I had sort of a quick system down at that point.
Hold a foot.
It was kind of like I would like kind of crouch down towards them. I wasn't very limber. And I would also rub them together to rub the germs off and then kind of like blow on them, and then I'd get in bed. And then once I'd get in bed, I would have this horrible thing. I don't know how long it lasted me. It was a thing over a certain period of time. But it was brutal. I would get in bed and whatever number would pop into my head, could be 8, hopefully, could be 48. That would be the number of Hail Marys, active contritions, and Our
Catholic
Fathers.
School?
Not Catholic school, but we were Christmas Catholics. We'd go to Sunday school, confirm, baptize, communion, all the things. And just a general, the God that I sort of grew up around was a God to be feared. I would, I would bang my knee on something. Oh, fuck. And it'd be like, look, God punishes, for that thing I did before, before that, So I would.
Heck of an ideology.
Yeah, heck of an ideology. Really, really just, that's a God I want to help me through life.
Mm-hmm.
And so 48, let's say, I would have to do 48 Our Fathers, 48 active contritions, and 48 Hail Marys. And if I messed up at any point along the way, I would have to go back to the beginning.
Of course you do.
Before I could go to sleep. Or else, God would strike me dead, or my mother. Oh my God, an hour or 2 hours. Yeah, whatever.
And then you take Zoloft and it's over. Okay.
Well, didn't last. That I grew up. I would grow out of these things, and it would take a different shape or form. So, I remember in my sort of L.A. This was in Jersey growing up, but like in my L.A. success, post-American Pie, pre-Zoloft, but partying and doing all these things, it became a lot of just like general snakes in my head, paranoia. Oh my God, what did I say to that person? And how much of that was my OCD and how much of it was I was wasted last night and did I talk to that studio head and tell him that, I thought his daughter was hot? Like, what the fuck, right? So it was a lot of just like constantly just replaying things, beating myself up, tripping about things. Also short temper that would come out in weird places, whether it was road rage, weird things. And it wasn't until, I guess I was like 27 or something, maybe, that I finally started seeing a therapist and started taking Zoloft.
And
that was almost
once it kicks in.
It almost
Zoloft
changed
worked
my
for me
life.
in 3 days.
I don't know if it was 3 days, but I do remember the feeling. I don't remember what it was. I wish I did. I wish I remembered the exact thing it was, but I'll never forget the feeling of the first time I started to trip out about something, had a thought that was like, oh, fuck, and putting it away and going, it's all good. That feeling, which was totally new, never had it in my life.
Never put a feeling away in your fucking life.
Ever.
Yeah.
It blew me away. And I was like, oh my fucking God. Anyway, it changed my life, Zoloft. This next break brought to you by
BetterHelp.
Eli Lilly, makers of Zoloft.
Uh-huh. Okay, so you start, it's the career's getting a little dicey.
Mm-hmm.
You're still drinking drugs.
And also, because the career is getting dicey, I would have longer stretch. I mean, when American Pie first came out, I was like being flown in PJs
to Dubai to have sex with sheiks. Fuck pies
on
sheiks.
Yachts in the Gulf of Arabia.
$1 million pies.
Otherwise known as the Persian Gulf. There is not a Gulf of Arabia.
Gulf of America.
The Gulf of America. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Trump. I was working nonstop, fucking like couldn't keep track of shit.
Yep.
And now here I was with stretches of like, just kind of, and, again, I would find ways to go, okay, it's all good, be it drugs and alcohol or money, right? I had a bit of a windfall, right, with the American Pie film. So I was like, okay, I'm good. I can go these stretches. But it was the thing I had warned myself about. And despite the warnings and despite being, I think, better equipped to handle the sort of downturn than most people in my position would be, it still fucked with my head. Of course it did. It was an ego shot. Go ahead.
Did the fact that you were on a ensemble, did that help? Were there people you could kind of compare notes with, or was it everyone's experience was so different that for everyone, there were people that you were jealous of, and then there were people that were jealous of you on the cast, and like,
yeah, it was a little tricky. It wasn't really something I would speak about with the cast. One of my best friends in the world is Eddie K. Thomas, who played Finch in the movies, and we certainly talk a lot about it now because we were both kid actors. Actually, I've known him since he was 8 years old in the city, and we would audition together all the time. And we weren't friends because he was one of those professional children's school kids that like had freedom and independence and was living in the city, and I would get in my mom's minivan and drive back to Jersey. So we never hung out or even really talked to each other, but we were at every audition together. We've now since become best friends, and we talk about all of this a lot now in adulthood, and sobriety and stuff, and just parenthood and how it's changed us all. But at the time, it's kind of weird because you knew you were getting paid differently than some of these people, and it was kind of weird and secretive. It wasn't the Friends cast where it's like we're all together.
Yeah.
And so, so
you don't really have that as a resource.
I don't really have that as a resource.
Yep.
I don't really have it as a resource.
So you're drinking drugs.
And starting to like regret choices that I'm making along the way, and starting to wonder if I need to make some sort of changes. But again, fearing change, fearing what's on the other side of things. I would sort of always, I was always more passive, and I had always also, no matter how long the downturn would be, something had always come back for me. Something had always turned up.
Yeah.
So I also had in my head, it's okay,
Yeah.
but it was hard to get through that, to get on the other side of that. And sometimes the stretches were getting longer and longer. And yeah, it was a really sort of rough spell. And now I met and married my wife during this time, which was great. But I was still using a ton.
Did she
party? Did she know? Why don't you ask the questions? Why don't
This
you
guy-
ask the
no,
questions,
no.
Brennan?
You know where I'm going. Go. Did she party? Did she know? This is how that's called. That's
What
how I really.
stupid
see,
question.
You
What
wrote it.
stupid questions.
You wrote it, and I put the English on it.
Ask me
Did she
something
know?
real.
When did she know, Jason?
So she says, and I kind of vaguely remember this, but she says that she asked me early on in our dating if I drank every day, and I said, yeah. Yeah, of course I do. Why?
Are you stupid?
What are
you,
don't
smart ass?
Don't ask
Yeah.
me stupid questions like Brennan does.
Yeah, fucking.
Right?
Jeez, what is the podcast? 15
What
years
is
from
this,
now.
blocks? So there were signs, but I also drank a lot by myself. And also Jenny was had her own stuff happening and career that she was focused on, and I hit it very well. And I love drinking and drugging by myself. Case in point, ecstasy in a car on my way to Whistler, Canada. But I was fine hiding it. She would go to bed before me. I'd stay up doing blow in the other room. I could. And I could,
Under and tell her what? I'm gonna play video. I'm gonna be on the internet. What?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go and watch more TV. I had
Yeah.
a big screen, drop down fucking man cave thing, and I'm just gonna go in there. I'm not tired yet, and damn right I'm not tired for another 3 days.
Yeah.
And so a lot of shit like that, and so it was just like getting darker for me. And then Twitter came around and I started to tweet a lot. And for Jenny, it became, and also for you, for a lot of people, Twitter was a real home run. People who knew how to do it right. Twitter was this whole new sort of thing that changed a lot of people's ball games, including my wife's. And to an extent, me, I was my career was kind of I was still getting offers, doing indie here, doing a guest star there. I was still, whatever.
I would say, from what I remember, it gave you more dimension.
Okay.
Because he was just I don't know, fucking
this guy who does the
and then it was he's opinionated and funny.
Okay, so thank you for saying that. That was my intent.
Yeah.
And I really ran with it.
Others hated it. Kidding.
No. Others did hate it. That's where I'm going with this. So I really saw it as an opportunity to show a side of myself, whether it was because I was my humor skewed darker, provocative. I'm a huge Howard Stern fan.
Sure.
I was why can't I? I can, and I was an opportunity to show people. And my favorite response that I would get to a tweet was, whoa, Biggs, didn't realize you were, so funny, dark, whatever. I would love that shit, and my following grew. So I'm thinking, okay, but now there was hate as well. And then I kind of just, got super dark with my tweets, and, it bled into my career, and I ended up losing a job, and at the time, because of my drinking and drugging, I sort of, again, blamed it on other people, compartmentalized it, moved past it, said, not my problem, doesn't matter, not my fault.
What were your go-to moves as a user
of Twitter?
No,
or drug.
You said, you sort of just walk me. Were those your main moves? Not my fault. Not my fuck off. I'm fine.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of not taking responsibility for my
That's
own actions.
assuming in every aspect of your life.
Every aspect, yeah. It was a lot of that. I mean, I would start to go there, did I make the wrong choices and this and that? But it would be no, I was advised wrong, or I just, there was a million reasons why that movie didn't work, It wasn't me. And then when I would start to even entertain those thoughts of it being about me, when I should be leaning into those thoughts and saying, hey, well, what part of this is my responsibility and how can I move on from it and how can I learn from it? Instead of leaning in, I would drink and drug my way out of it. And so I never had to look at my own shit, ever. And this worked. And this was in my relationship with my wife. This worked in my relationship with my parents, my family. It worked in my relationships with my representatives, my career, any place that I could and should have looked at my own sort of part in all of it. I was able to, say, oh, no, be passive and go ahead and drink and drug my way out of it. It was very easy. And until it wasn't. And it just kept sort of, it became I was always an everyday drinker, but it became like a obsession. It used to be like I would just party every day because I could, and after filming, drinks, yeah, for sure, I'm young, successful, all is good. So I didn't drink every day in that sense. Now it was like, I need to drink to quiet the snakes in my head, to get through the day, to avoid, shakes and shit. Like it wasn't, there were days where I was like, oh fuck, like I need to get a drink soon, like I was definitely feeling it physically. But when I would have like a stretch of fucking like really getting drunk at night kind of days and going to sleep and waking up and after like 2 hours going, oh fuck, I like have to get a fucking drink in me. So there was a physical component. Yes, it wasn't as bad. I was listening to the Nick
Short, yeah.
Oh man, like I was never hospitalized. I was never like, like that. I wasn't like, people were like, Jason, what the fuck is wrong with you? But up here, it was a fucking disaster. Like I just could not wait to get the first drink in me,
to end the nonsense.
Yeah. I just couldn't wait. And like, so some days, depending on my schedule, if I had an audition or a meeting in the afternoon, I could wait. I would wait and I would prepare and I would go on the audition. I'm sure I wasn't on my A game at all, but it felt to me like I was being responsible enough. But the minute the audition was over, I was going to the liquor store and drinking in my car before I drove home.
Yeah.
Or on the drive home. Like fucking awful, unsafe, terrible, regret it terribly.
Yep.
But if I happen to have an early meeting, great, even better. If I happen to have nothing that day, I would especially need to drink because I would need to get out of the like, why do I have nothing today? There were many of those days, but the good news there was I could get up and go to my bar and just chug vodka from the bottle. You go to a bar? My bar.
Which
my
bar?
Man cave.
Oh, in your house.
Yep, I had a bar and beer on tap and the whole thing, man. Yeah.
And so, man, people must have thought you were fun.
Oh yeah, I was really fun.
It's so cool that you have a bar in your house.
Bar in my house. I've hosted barbecues all the time. It was great.
Jason.
It was great, man. I can man the grill like a motherfucker.
Oh man, was this in the Valley or in the Hollywood Hills?
This is West Hollywood Hills, Sunset Plaza, dope spot, great views. Yeah, man, we did it.
Like you read about.
Sean White was my neighbor. Threw a palm tree in my pool once to fuck with me.
So cool.
It was cool,
Sick.
man. Yeah.
And what made you stop this incredibly cool shit?
So
as much as I make fun of the idea that this is cool, there was a steady cultural diet from the time we were born that this was cool.
Yeah, this was cool. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And it still kind of exists, but like at least now people know alcohol is poison and
yes.
They do it less, etc. But like it was cool.
Oh, it was totally cool. Smoking was, I smoked a ton. Like, yeah, smoking cigarettes all the time. Like, now someone in the streets of New York walks by smoking a cigarette. I'm like, are you fucking crazy?
Mm-hmm.
You're smoking.
Mm-hmm.
Get away from me. Yeah. So, no, it was super cool.
If you're just joining us, it was super cool.
It was super cool.
So what made you stop? What made you go so fucking uncool?
Yeah, so it was...
Look, we've all been there. Fall rolls around, you start digging through your closet. You're looking for warmer clothes. Nothing feels quite right anymore. You're a different person than you were last fall. You were a square. Now you're different. Those beat up pants from college, yeah, probably time to retire them. It's time to upgrade, guys, with Rag & Bone's infused denim. You used to have to choose between jeans that look great and jeans that actually lasted. With Rag & Bone, you finally get both. Jeans built to move with you, hold their shape, and develop character over time with multiple fits from slim and straight to relaxed or athletic. There's a style for every preference and occasion. These aren't your average jeans, guys. They overdo it by design with premium denim and construction that make them stand out while still feeling effortless. The wash is where the infused denim really shines. Each pair goes through an 8-step over-dye process, giving rich layered tones and deep dimensional shades that look polished yet effortless. Over time, the color and texture evolve, adding even more character with an authentic, lived-in touch. You like this shirt, fam? Rag & Bone. Yeah, this is it. This is them at their best. This is black. I got the black one. Black, I believe it's a slim fit. It moves nice. It's not, I've had this in a different brand, and it wasn't, this is soft as hell. This is soft as hell. I'm really looking forward to, this is only my second day wearing it. But I'm looking forward to making it a part of one of my flagship shirts. So looking at a flagship shirt. I can't believe Rag & Bone's advertising here, but I'm excited because there were times where I've had so much Rag & Bone stuff, it's crazy. It's time to upgrade your denim with Rag & Bone. For a limited time, my listeners get 20% off. That's great. Their entire order with code NEAL at rag-bone.com. That's 20% off at rag-bone.com with promo code NEAL. When they ask you where you heard about them, please support our show and let them know we sent you. rag-bone.com. There's also a great song by a band that's got stripes in the title, and one of the people is white. Guys, I'm washing my hair again. For a long time, I swore off shampoo. Shampoo is the problem. It has you on a hamster wheel of too dry, too greasy, too harsh on your hair, too drying on your scalp. That's where dandruff comes from. There's new hair washing product from Modern Mammals, which is much lighter, more moisturizing, doesn't dry out your hair and scalp. It also means your scalp better regulates its own natural oils. It doesn't distort your natural oils like shampoo would. This stuff is really nice. You know why women don't wash their hair? It's because they want to keep the oils, gives it a more full body. When you put shampoo in it, we don't pay attention. And then you dry it out, it gets thin and like kind of reedy. It's not good hair. You can't really do anything with it. It just kind of, you look like a third grader. The best way to do this ad is Pete Holmes. You like Pete Holmes' hair? He's a Modern Mammals guy. The kid's got incredible hair. Pete Holmes' hair is matched only by his ability to laugh at his own jokes. Why am I going after Pete? I'm going to get a very fun text about this. Modern Mammals. Go to modernmammals.com. They're trying to get the word out. I use it. It's great. You just zoop, and it's just like the way you use conditioner. It's great. Modernmammals.com. So what made you stop? What made you go so fucking uncool?
Yeah, so it was my wife getting pregnant. That was sort of the thing. And, they say, like, you can't get sober for anyone or anything else. You got to do it for yourself, all things. Mm-hmm. And that is true, I think. I don't think it's... I think you can try to get sober for someone else. If that's the impetus, if that's the thing, if that's the... You have your bottom and you go, oh, my God, I'm going to lose this if I don't get sober. Great, let that be the fucking reason. But to stay sober, you got to be in there for yourself.
Yeah.
And I found that out because it took me 4 years, basically, of relapsing to put, before I was able to, put this current chunk of time together.
You start for her.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Go on like a 3-day bender. We found she like was positive.
HIV. It was a bumpy time.
Yes.
You should have drank when your pregnant wife's HIV positive.
Yeah, it was like, look, but I knew there were meds that could.
No, well, prep.
It's like different. It wasn't 87. It wasn't 1990.
No, it could have been better. It could have been worse.
It was, exactly. So I was like, but still, I was like, I got to drink. So she's pregnancy positive, and under the guise of celebrating, it was like Memorial Day weekend, just partied the whole weekend, and then sort of came out of that. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm going to have a kid? Like, I want to have a kid. Like, we were trying.
Was she saying, what the fuck are you doing? Or you...
It was more me.
You thought it before she... Okay.
It was more me, and again, I was really good at hiding it. I could sort of... my alcoholism was the kind where, like, let's say we were having a party, I would drink by myself upstairs straight from the vodka bottle, just enough to get my buzz on so that I could go down to the party, and then I have the beer in my hand, and everyone else would think that was, I just had my first beer number 1, but I'm already buzzed enough to where I can sort of hang and party. That was my alcoholism. And then when the night was over, I'd be doing cocaine by myself in the man cave because I had gotten so drunk and I needed to whatever.
It's funny because it's like in some ways your appearance helps you hide it.
Yeah, right.
Because you play nebbishy guys.
Totally.
So like I can tell you something Jason's not doing. He's much more likely to be, he's not drinking vodka.
No,
he's
by himself.
Either has diarrhea or he's fucking a pie.
Exactly.
Like so it works sort
to
of
my
in your
advantage.
favor and against you in the long term.
I can't tell you how many times I've been, because of course I would party with strangers, and put myself in situations and go to people's homes that like I had just met in weird places, and because I was searching for drugs or whatever, and but the amount of times that people would be like, You party, bro?
Yeah.
Shit. Okay,
Yeah.
cool, man. Let's go. Shock.
Yeah.
Shock. And honestly, I think there was always a little bit of myself that was also surprised. Really. I think there was always, in the same way that I always was shocked that I lived in LA for as long as I did.
I know what you mean by that.
I live in I like it.
Yeah.
It's me now, but is it me?
Yeah, when people go, how long are you out here for? And you go, 11 years.
Yeah, but I'm in New York. Obviously I'm gonna go back. I have to go back to New York. I can't raise a family. It was the same sort of thing. I'm this guy that's looking for cocaine in the streets of Uganda, in Kampala, the capital of Uganda, literally went walking the streets of one of the most dangerous cities because I wanted to find cocaine. Idiot.
Did people
did
recognize
I find
you? Well, no, this is a two-part question. Did you find it, and did the movie help?
I found it, but not by walking on the streets.
Okay.
I found it later with a guest at the party that we were going to at the hotel. And
why were you there for the party?
We were there for a charity event and to hike with trek for mountain gorillas and do this charity to raise awareness for the mountain gorillas. And there was a party at the hotel associated with it that first
before Ellen bought all the gorillas.
Exactly right. But now all the gorillas do cocaine because of me, which is really interesting and stupid.
Pretty great. And
It's-
they're like, I party? Wait, I'm a gorilla?
I
And
party
like
I
this?
never saw
Bro,
myself.
This is crazy.
And I can't believe that I live in Uganda. I always thought I would stay in New York.
I know. I was a Rwandan gorilla in my head, but I'm in
Here
Uganda.
I am in the Bwindi impenetrable forest. I thought I'd be in Virunga,
This
and
fucking guy who can drop gorilla references.
knowledge.
with the
Well,
best
there's a
one.
reason I can.
Hello. Because of the cocaine.
Because of the blow
Thank
I
you
did
again.
with the
Was
gorillas.
this decent cocaine?
It was decent cocaine.
Okay, great.
It was decent. It
Okay.
was decent.
Okay.
And I did not. No one recognized me.
While we're here,
God, yeah.
what's the best cocaine you've ever done?
Possibly in Costa Rica. Also did some incredible
Farm to table.
farm to table. Also some incredible in Uruguay. Not to be confused with Uganda. Another U country, Uruguay. We were in Punta del Este to party one New Year's. My friends and I would take these New Year's trips, usually to somewhere warm, Southern Hemisphere, conveniently located near the cocaine manufacturers.
Beautiful coincidence.
Beautiful coincidence. To party.
Okay.
So
Since we're here.
So Uruguay was one of the best, and Costa Rica one of the best. Yeah, for sure.
And when you get there, do you have a local fixer? Is it one of these things where there's a bit of the thing with the Epstein thing where they're like, he knew all these people? Because there's I call it the winner circle. There's a winner circle of this understood thing that I'm going to hook you up with my guy in Uruguay.
Yep.
And that's what happened.
Yep.
Okay.
100%.
Very good.
Yep.
And that's why he's in the Epstein files. Okay, so you're like, all right, I got to get sober after this 3-day thing, and you start going to
I
meetings.
start going to meetings. So
Okay.
AA was I tell my therapist first, and Jenny, my wife, and my therapist. Interestingly, it was, I'd been going to her for quite a few years at that point, and was regaling her with these stories of my using, and when I told her I think I might have a problem and wanted to try getting sober, she told me that she wasn't sure if she was going to tell me this, but she wants to, that she was sober for 34 years at that point, and she knows how she can help me. And I was like, oh my fucking God. And then, of course, immediately I'm thinking like, oh my God, I was telling her this story about like, fucking doing this drug and that drug and all this shit, and she's just sitting there like sober.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Anyway, judging the fuck out of me. But of course, she was not judging me. But what was I saying? Yeah, so I decided to get sober. She helps me out. She hooks me up with someone. I was afraid of going to rehab. In hindsight, I think it would have been a really positive experience for me. But I'm like, I can't go to rehab. What if that gets out? And da-da-da-da. And so she's like, I'm going to set you up with a friend of mine who can take you to an AA meeting. What do you know about AA? And I'm like, not much. It's a cult, right? I decide to meet this woman. She takes me to my first AA meeting. Story of my first AA meeting is interesting. So we go. She takes me to this little coffee shop on Vine, and it's just like a long table. And I'm thinking, I thought we were going to go to a meeting that was sort of big, and I could kind of hang in the back and keep my hoodie up and my hat on, and sort of, be anonymous.
Right.
And that was not the meeting we went to. And not to begrudge her if she is listening. She's wonderful, and I just think I didn't communicate what I wanted.
And she betrayed you.
And she betrayed me. No, she's obviously, I have a lot of gratitude for this woman. So she takes me to this meeting, though, and it's like 8 people around the table. And I don't know where, and there's going to be a speaker. If you know how AA works, oftentimes there's someone who qualifies, it's called. They speak about, they speak for 20 minutes or so, they tell their story, and then other people in the room can kind of share. And so I don't know where the speaker's sitting. I just sit down in this one chair. It turns out the speaker was sitting right next to me and just kind of like got up right there. And so I'm right next to the speaker, sort of front and center. It's this guy who starts sharing his story, which is sort of laced with resentment towards successful Hollywood people. like literally goes so far as he was an actor, trying to be an actor in LA.
Yep.
Was having a hard time of it. Was talking very specifically about, having resentment towards successful actors. I remember at one point.
Do you think he saw you before?
No. At this point, I'm like.
And you're repeatedly clearing your throat as he's saying.
Yeah. No, I'm actually just trying to disappear into the fucking floor. I don't want him to see me. Hat is even more down. I'm mortified.
You know what could have helped you at that point? A drink.
Cocaine.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm like trying to avoid him. I'm just so mortified, and he's like talking about. I remember at one point he mentioned specifically, like, the actor, with their beautiful houses in the hills. And I'm like, literally, I'd just come from my beautiful house in the hills. And I just remember towards the end, I think after he finished, and it's sort of going around the room and people are like sharing, I looked up at one point and he caught my eye, and it was both of us just shared this really insane, ridiculous, horrible moment of just regret on my part for looking up and being there, regret on his part for everything he had just said. Yeah. It was weird. It was awkward. But
you're both, he's whatever. He's allowed to be resentful. And you're.
But again, one of the tenets of AA is like, honesty and fucking letting go and, and sort of being honest about your resentments, whatever it is. So, so whatever. I don't remember the rest of that meeting, but I do remember leaving the meeting saying, or not saying anything. I just remember my friend, my now friend, this woman who was helping me, saying, okay, I'm sorry. Let me take you to another meeting tomorrow. Will you give me one more chance? And I was like, Yeah, sure. And I'd already planned. I wasn't planning on saying, fuck that, that's
Yeah.
not for me. I wasn't planning on that, but I definitely needed another crack at it. And so the next day we went to a much different meeting, and I ended up hearing my story from one of the shares. I remember hearing someone go, and thinking, oh, fuck. Yeah, I really relate to that. And, anyway, and then I just kind of stayed in the program as much as I could. One of the great ironies of my sobriety journey is that
Time is up. He said journey.
Fuck. Here we go. Anyway,
I have a new
it's
policy.
been
If
great.
anyone
Thank
says
you for
journey,
having me.
that's the end of the podcast. Fold it up.
Thank you for having me. I thought it was a drinking game where if you say journey, you can drink.
I know you did.
So, of course you did.
You think everything's a drinking game.
Of course
Jason,
you did.
because
Biggs.
you're sick. Okay, so you kind of buy in.
Yeah. So I spent one of the ironies I was saying, like I spent the last couple years of my drinking, telling myself that I had a problem and I needed to get sober. And then I spent the first couple of years of my sobriety telling myself, I don't have a problem. I could drink healthy. I could do this. So I kept relapsing. And so, yeah, it kind of clicked, if you will, 4 years in. And
the relapse is maybe a big word for it, but it was mostly like, I can ride without
the training wheels.
Yeah.
Take these off now. I'm good. I'm good.
And then fuck, I need them.
I need training wheels for life.
Yep.
And,
I know. It's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're like, no, I'm not going to do the right thing.
Yeah, I won't. I will ride with no hands.
Yep.
And I will hit a pothole.
Yep.
And I'll break my elbow, which is exactly what I did when I was 6 years old. And that's what I will do. And so keep the training wheels on. And I have to keep going and keep, talking to other alcoholics, and that's what works for me. But, the biggest thing for me where it's helped has been, acceptance and taking personal responsibility for everything in my life, so whether that's career stuff or, relationship stuff, it's given me an opportunity to sort of look inward.
That's the main way you think you've changed is like...
I think so. Yeah. Is trying to keep my side of the street clean. I continue to fuck up. I continue to fall back on old triggers. And by the way, I also still have addiction stuff, like whether it's food or shopping, like it's whack-a-mole for me, man. If shit comes up still, but I haven't picked up a drink in 8 years.
How do you keep an eye on the other shit? Meaning does your wife, Jenny, does she go like, yeah? Are you guys pretty engaged with each other?
Yeah,
in terms of behavior?
sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes it's a personal sort of check-in. Sometimes it's, I need to go to more meetings because it's a way of thinking less than like I need to go so I don't pick up a drink. Initially, it was I needed to go so I wouldn't pick up a drink. I just needed to get through each day without drinking or drugging. Now, I'm not as worried about drinking or drugging. I'm worried about, just my alcoholic mind leading me down paths, making me say things or do things like online shopping that are not healthy for me necessarily.
Dumbest thing you've ever bought online?
Huh.
I mean, all of it's dumb?
Yeah, all of it. The sheer quantity of what I bought is just dumb, under the dumb umbrella. But like the stupidest, I don't know, it was definitely on Instagram. I'm a sucker for the Instagram
I bought
ads.
pants on Instagram.
I have multiple pants on Instagram, and I like half of them.
That's high.
Yeah.
I bought pants with like a wide racing stripe on the side. And they weren't the worst pants, but again, then once they know you like
then
pants,
your
then it's over.
It's over.
So Google thinks I'm looking for flat shoes for like barefoot sneakers. For some reason, I don't have the heart to tell it. Hopefully this will get it out of my algorithm by mentioning it.
Hopefully it's listening.
So it's then do you worry about, well, you mentioned complacency about, so like you have a moderately steady income of residuals.
Sure.
Right. But but like, do you worry about, what do you worry about?
Yeah. I mean, it's weird, honestly. Like sometimes.
For the first time, be honest with me.
Okay, fine. It's been an hour and 40 minutes, Neal, and I was hoping to get through it without having to be honest.
No,
you don't want to end now?
Go on.
Thank God. yeah, I have like a weird, I'm able to, on one hand, say, I'm really lucky. Thank God, I'm okay. I'm fine. I don't need to worry. And then of course, there's a part of me that's like, ooh, a lot more has gone out than has come in, and that's a problem. I've got to move this around and do this, and maybe this account I was hoping to keep that there, but maybe I'll shuffle it over here, and you start doing all that shit, and it's like, oh, is it? It'd be nice to just have another check come in like I used to have, because also there's a part of like, you go, oh, that probably was. I've probably not necessarily. The great thing about our industry is that the possibility continues to exist, right?
It's the wonderful thing about our industry.
It's the wonderful thing. It could always change, and it could change,
and it probably will.
I hopefully will. Probably will, but it's also, I think, maybe healthy to a point to just assume
I've made my last dollar. That's how I think of it.
Exactly, that I made my last dollar. And so when you think about it in those terms, and there's more going out than coming in, you can't help but you go, okay, what's the real here? Like, how much would I like to continue to have, to pass on, or to save for this? How much am I willing to spend now? How much of it is about enjoying my life now? And how much do I want my kids? Maybe I don't want my kids to have that much. Or
what's the recipe?
What is the recipe? What is the fucking recipe is right. And like, I've never made a big purchase without going, oh my God, fuck. Like, I've never been like, yeah, fuck it. Like, I've never done that.
Even peak.
Even fucking peak. I've never gone. I mean, maybe like, interestingly, because it's arguably the biggest purchases I've ever made, but like real estate, I've maybe, depending on when I did it and where the house was or the piece of real estate was, because you go, oh, it's an investment in and of itself, right? But like, other big purchases that you go, I might not ever get this money back. I've never gone, okay, it's fine, I have it. Never, ever, ever, ever. I was going, oh my God, is this fucking stupid? Like, I've vacillated. I've worked myself up to it in a fucking, so, which I think is good.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
Oh, you're alert.
I'm alert. And so.
Tell me about your.
Complacency.
No, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I do think in sobriety, another thing that's happened for me is I've become more proactive. I've become more willing to go, oh, I shouldn't just sit on my ass. Like, also because I took out a major activity that allowed me to sit on my ass and took up time.
Freed up 8 hours a day.
A minimum. I now have more time. I have more energy. Where do I put this alcoholic energy or this ADD, whatever it is that I have, this divergency in my head that made me want to drink? I can put it towards something else. And so I've been able to be less complacent. I've been able to be more proactive, and I've been able to like overcome fear a little bit more. Like, I've always been afraid of doing things. I was afraid to take steps to direct, even though I've always wanted to do it, And I directed last year for the first time, and I was so fucking afraid of doing it. And if I had stayed drinking, there was no way I would have done it. There was no way. First, because of just focus and sort of, I think being present for it, but also I think I just would have stayed in my fears. Alcohol and drugs allowed me to just stay in my fears and not have to address why I'm afraid of shit or. Yeah. So
that's really interesting. Tell me about
it?
No, it is. I'm interested. The idea that it's a bit like when you quit the internet, how much free time you have, and then what do I do with the time? Or when you quit something and then there's a hole, and then the hole in your schedule creates character, maybe pluses that you didn't.
It's the hole in your brain, though, right? Like, it's you just cleared space in your head. Like, you take the phone away, which, by the way, that's an addiction.
Yeah,
major. You're taking that away and you're clearing space for it. So, do you fill it with more destructive shit, or do you go, oh, this is an opportunity to fill it with positive shit?
Spirituality.
Yeah.
Talk to me. You said you were an atheist, and then
I was a big let's go back to the kid that's doing 48 Hail Marys and active contritions
sure,
and Our
sure,
Fathers
sure.
in his bed before he goes to sleep at night. You know, I grew up in a sort of Catholic
penal
house.
colony.
What?
A Catholic penal colony, basically.
Colony. Yes. Essentially. I
Yeah,
mean, it's crazy.
That's kind of what it is.
That's kind of what it is, man. God punishes. And so, yeah, it was like a fear of God. It was not a benevolent God. You know, if you did this, this would happen to you. And that just, and on top of my OCD where I already thought that. And so, but my parents were in and out of it, you know, like it all felt very hypocritical to me. They were Christmas Catholics, or they would go for stretches. You know, they'd go one year to Christmas Mass, and then they'd be like, they'd get super into it again, right? They'd be like, oh, let's go. We're going to church every Sunday. And you're like, really? Like, you didn't go to church for 8 years, and now you went for Christmas Mass and you're like newly invigorated. And then it would die out, it would peter out again, right? So, I don't know, but I always thought it was so hypocritical. And this is even before all of the abuse scandal like became real public knowledge, you know, but it all just felt very hypocritical to me. And, but I kind of abided by it when I needed to, and feared God, even though I didn't really want to believe in God, because just in case, you know. It was always a just in case kind of thing. Like, well, if there is a God, I better, and he obviously punishes. I better be fucking on the straight and narrow. You know, I better do this correctly, whatever this was. But then when I, you know, sort of came out under my, you know, parents' thumb, if you will, and moved out to LA, became independent and successful and financially independent and all the things. And started reading a lot more, you know, I got into Christopher Hitchens and Sam Harris, and I was like, yeah, what? This is crazy. Yeah, right. They would talk about this insane, stupid God, like, really, this is your God? And I'd be like, yeah, that's it. Exactly. That's not, that fucking, yeah, this is absolutely insane.
I listened to the audio of God Is Not Great on my drive moving from New York to LA. It's like perfect. Yep. God Is Not Great was a Bible for me. And yeah, and so I was like, oh, I'm an atheist. Fucking yeah, of course I'm an atheist. Like I'm a smart person. Guy.
I'm
cool, I party, and I'm smart.
So I am an atheist. And then you know, fast forward into sobriety, where, you know, they start talking God in Alcoholics Anonymous. And, you know, even though people would say, oh, yeah, when I first came in here, God, I was an atheist and God was not part of it. But now I see God as this. Even though people were, you know, using themselves as examples of, oh, I was you, Jason. But you know, here's where I'm at now. I would still be like, you're an idiot now. What do you mean?
Yeah.
So you're an idiot now, because I'm still smart. I will remain smart even if I stay in this program of idiots, and I will not be believing in God. So if you need me to do that, accept that there's this other power, it's going to be a problem. And guess what? For 4 years, it was a problem.
Yeah.
And I kept relapsing. And, you know, in continuing my exploration of the idea of God, and sort of getting and gradually shedding this notion that I had as a kid of this fucking guy with a gray beard on a cloud who will strike you and punish those that don't abide. As I gradually shed that and came to understand God being more of an idea and less of a person, this deity, this thing that can make decisions and is all-knowing, and more of an idea of there being something outside of myself. You know, I realized my thing, I started to realize when I became sober, was that when I was drinking and when I was an atheist, I actually thought I was God in a way. Like I could control my life. I was the one I was omnipotent and omniscient, and I could do all of these things, and I could control. And it became clear that I could do no such thing. And I'm learning that in sobriety. And so giving it over, it being, you know, all of that shit, all of my inability to accept, giving over all of my control to something else that's outside of me, a power greater than myself, has been helpful for me. Meditation, has been a tool that I don't use enough of. But
Nobody does.
Nobody does. But when I do use it, it's helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, it's this idea of like, and it kind of, I see it as an opportunity, to let myself off the hook, right? I use my
that's interesting.
God or whatever it is to say, you know what? I don't have the answer right now, but it'll come to me through this other thing. I'm not in control of this situation. It's out of my hands. It's in the hands of this power that's outside of me. I can't fucking control it. So I wash my hands of it and let's see what happens. And always what happens is something positive.
The right thing.
The right thing.
Yes.
The right thing. When I try to do it and control it, the wrong thing happens.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times.
Sure.
And so that's what my version of spirituality has become, a faith in the idea that I am no longer able to control my life. I am not the God of my life.
You take responsibility for action. You try to do
the right thing. Try
thing.
to take responsibility.
Have ethics, have ideals, make decisions, but results are none of your business.
Exactly. Get out of the results business.
Well, Jason, I'm in the results business.
And this has been one wildly successful show.
A fucking home run of a podcast. Jason Biggs, the inimitable Jason Biggs. Do you get it? It was a callback for the beginning.
I get it.
All right.
Thanks, Neal.